Three guys chilling on a podcast. Social distancing because it is cool.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name is Harry Barr. This is the 27th podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona. Guys, how are you?
Hello,
yeah, good. Thank you,
everybody.
Harry. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. It does seem like 5 minutes.
Are we gonna comment on the weather this week?
I was trying something then.
I don't know, because down here it's pretty awful weather down here. Just so everyone's updated, the weather is not good. Thank you, Mr. Weatherman.
Hey, what I was about to say is it only seems about 5 minutes since we were last recording because we're recording this one a bit further in advance this week because we have some special guests.
That we do.
And
I think that first we should talk about our nothing to watch this week, which is the big flower fight, which our guests are from. Tune in later for that interview because it's going to be a cracker.
Tune in later.
It's going to be a cracker. It was a brilliant show.
It's going to be a cracker.
Okay, so for this week, as Ben already said earlier, for this week's Nothing to Watch, we were watching the Big Flower Fight, which is the new Netflix sort of competition show with arts and crafts essentially, and it involves people making giant sculptures with the use of floristry. Yeah. So, guys, what were your thoughts on the show as a whole?
Beautiful. That's all I can say.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It was really nice to see. Like, obviously, if for people that haven't watched it, it is very Great British Bake Off-esque, but obviously flower related, and they only do like one project, whereas obviously in Bake Off you have the different rounds. And it is really interesting because what I liked about it is it was these people that went into the show. Some of them weren't professionals in that area. Some of them were learning whilst they were going through the show. So some of the plants, a lot of the plants and stuff, people just didn't really know what they were. And so they learned whilst, they honed their skills changed whilst they were on the show, which is it's a bit different. I think when you see something like Bake Off, I guess because the longer
they have like a baking background, don't they?
Yeah, they always have a baking background or and it's a proper passion. And don't get me wrong, these people clearly love flowers and whatnot, but there was, a lot of time for them to learn these skills, which was really cool.
Yeah, I think there was like two artists, someone doing like 3D design at university, and like some landscape gardeners as well. So like obviously, landscape architects. Sorry, so like people who have made sculptures perhaps in the past, but like not with the material that they were given on each task as well. And like I think what I just really loved about it is just like how just lovely it was. Like it was a really nice break from all the stuff going on in the world at the moment. It's just like, I can sit down and watch this. Just show about lovely people making some very pretty sculptures. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it seemed like everyone got along really well. There didn't appear to be any backstabbing, which you get in some other reality show or competition shows. And
there were natural hostilities. There were like natural competitive.
Like, there was healthy.
But it wasn't like if you take Ryan and Andrew and Jan and Henck, they just wanted to beat each other. There was no maliciousness.
It was friendly competition.
It was exactly that. It was friendly competition, and I think that was really, really good to see.
Yeah, and I think Henck sort of said at one point, it's like, we're really glad that everyone's kind of like progressing at the sec. Everyone is also upping their game each week to try and win that best in bloom. Like the sort of essentially like the Star Baker on Bake Off. It's like the best of that week, and like seeing some of the people. So there was this father and son called like Jim and Ralph, and they were like the 3D designer and like a gardener, and like where they started to where they ended was just like the progression was like incredible.
Yeah, it was beautiful. That was beautiful. I think that's actually one thing you picked up on, like the progression. That's one thing that's true. Like it was just incredible seeing them, and like Ben said as well, how there were some people out there who have no background in floristry at all to come up with the things that they made in that show, which is absolutely breathtaking. So. Yeah. Incredible show. Highly recommend you watch it if you haven't already watched it.
One thing I found of the show is they have the resident judge who is Christian, and he's great. He's got this sass, but he's also very out there, and he's a really good judge. And then each week they have a guest judge in. And each week, like, got no idea who this is. No, got no idea who this one is. No idea who this one is. And I was just wondering if the contestants knew who these people were or not. Because if that man, like, if one of them just walked out and was like, "Oh, this is Gabriel Johnson," I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Genuinely no idea. Yeah, I'd just be like, "Right, okay."
I did recognize.
I generally have no idea who they were.
I did recognize the judge they had come back for so they had one judge come back twice, like once for, I think it was the grass, like the animal sculpture one, and then he came back for the final. And I think I recognize him because my mum always watches the Chelsea Flower Show.
Well, he was the royal. He does a lot of the royal garden, doesn't he? That was. I think he was the most superior judge of them all, like in terms of ranking, I guess. But yeah, like even him, I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I did like him the most, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think just like another. I mean, Ben, I've told you about this, but I think you disagree with me. But I do think it puts like the final sort of showstoppers and the sort of final products of a lot of other competitions to shame, just because like the sheer scale that they had. Like, you know, building, I think the first task they had to build something that was like 6 feet big, and then by the end it was like 20 foot high, like fairy tale scenes. And
but they have so much longer, and it is their only task. That's
I still think that like
I don't think you can. I think you can compare Bake Off is obviously different fields, but they've done 2 other activities in Bake Off as well. So
yeah,
I don't think it's comparable, to be honest. I don't really know what you'd expect. What do you want Bake Off to do? Make 20-foot cakes or something?
Well, no, I think there's a difference in it though, because like on Bake Off, they've got the technical, the something else, and then the showstopper. But the showstopper, they have time to prepare it. Like, you know, they're obviously told what it is ahead of time, and then they have to make it. Whereas on the big flower fight, they were just like given, like some of them were literally just some of the tasks, you'd be given a scroll, and like on that scroll would be what you were making, and they had to like then in that 15 hours design
but you got to remember how 16 like. Yeah, but exactly, you have that much longer period of time to incorporate that design period. So I don't really think you can compare them, to be honest. I'm not saying like they're not hard in the big flower fight, but I don't think you can say that. Okay, actually, Harry, if you think it's so easy, off you trot, get on the Bake Off then.
I'm not saying that Bake Off isn't hard. I'm just saying let's just agree to disagree.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I think we've discussed like what we really loved about the show, but I think if they want to make the show sort of go on, I think it's Netflix putting a lot of money into this and making the show go on for a long time. Is there any sort of task you guys think you'd like to see or improved upon in each new season?
It's a Netflix original series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind blown. Fair play to them.
I think it's so that they can try and break into like that competition.
That kind of area, yeah.
I think for me, like the one especially when it starts at the start, they don't show. I think the episodes actually, in my opinion, should be longer because they don't show everyone's. So there, like for the first 2 episodes, there was a whole couple that you kind of saw in the background, but you never actually saw until it was like their episode essentially. So they had a really good sculpture. So so it's like, why? Well, you've got all of these people on the show, so show off what they're doing. Like even in Bake Off, they show off the middle. They show off the middle ones. They still show off everyone. So yeah, I think they could do that. And I don't know. I really like the estate though. I think they should keep it there. That was really pretty.
Yeah. Well, it's like so. I obviously I just do wonder how do they even apply for the show? I didn't see any adverts for it. Or like,
well, I presume something like an original show like that. I don't know if it's the same with Bake Off, but I presume people get scouted to do it. It's like Love Island, isn't it? like, I think the first Love Island, or some people on Love Island, get scouted, whereas the rest apply.
Mm.
So maybe it's a bit of both, and then from the show getting recognition and stuff, then they'll be able to advertise people to come on.
Yeah,
I guess that's how it sort of works, but obviously I don't know. We can find out when we interview Sarah and Jordan.
Yeah, I guess so.
I did like it as well because it was, they taught you about flowers and things. So the narration, there was a particular flower, I guess, that would do well in the certain task, because they sort of taught you about it and what it was and how it can be used and things. And I like that.
Yeah, well, I guess I think it was the sea creature one, and like when they had to use like coastal flowers, and they were giving like the explanation of like sort of like how they retain moisture, and like they've got like the hairs on the leaves, or they've got these big like weird sort of like prickly things to try and like keep away predators. I think like that was really interesting as well. Like I did end up like learning more about different flowers and different plants and things like that. Yeah,
I think we should talk about the final episode as well, because I think it's quite controversial. So if you haven't watched the show, I don't want to spoil it, but the couple that win, their design is not what they asked. It is a twist on what they asked. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was the best one. I think I know you two know who I'm talking about. I'm going to say the colourful outfits they should have won, because their design was amazing, and it was more to the status quo brother. And I know what the other two said, this is daring, we're going outside of the box, and if it pays off, it pays off. But I actually don't think the detail was as good in the house as
do you think it was the fact that they were daring that kind of carried them through the show?
Well, I think they
have done that quite a few times. Like the Infinity
and some
Mirror
of their
one.
designs were amazing.
Yeah, true.
Well, which one?
The which one was it? When they had like a mirror, and not to give too much away, but they had a mirror and did that. That was really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was really cool.
It was really cool, but again, it wasn't
exactly
what they asked, and there was actually very little flowers in that one.
Yeah.
And I just felt like Christian, obviously, really it caught from the start. They caught his attention, and as you say, Joscel, they were always like going outside the box. And it did pay off for them. But I like the colourful outfits. I like those. Do you
think there was some kind of like initial biases? Because like you said, Christian did kind of have a thing for them from the get-go. Do you think there were like biases, deviating towards people, being like, I like them more than them lot, or like?
I believe, but that's just human nature. So I believe in any competition show, you naturally like people more than other people, or something will blow you away from someone from the start, and that will just carry on. So I think that's just a natural thing rather than a specific thing in this show. And I don't think it definitely applies to this show, but it was very close between two couples, wasn't it? For like the majority of the show.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Yeah.
So guys, I think we can't really talk about it more without any spoiling the episodes, the show. Do go and watch it though, because I think it's probably one of my favorite nothing to watches to have watched. Just nice wholesome content to get you through quarantine, to get you through the world being on fire. So Ben, what are we watching next week?
Next week we're going to watch 365 Days. It is a bit of a raunchy film, very 50 Shades Grey-esque, and I mean, Harry chose it, so that sums it up, really. Right, let's move on to the Rusty Club. See you guys later.
You can't do me like that.
Anyone fancy a pint?
The next guests to join us on the Rusty Club are our first double act. They've taken the world by storm for their amazing use of colour and bubbly energy on the Netflix show, The Big Flower Fight. Being labelled the Colour Queens, it is clear this comes from their vibrant and enthusiastic personalities. Joining us from all the way over the Atlantic in the US of A, it's Sarah and Jordan.
I forgot we were in the USA.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
You are our, not only are you our first Double Act, you're our first international guest as well.
Yeah.
It's full of first this week.
We're out here changing it up, making waves, you know?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy to be here.
What's it been like since the show's come out? How's the reaction been?
You know, it's been so interesting because obviously with the current situation with COVID and whatnot, like we can't really go out and celebrate and celebration and parties and all that. So in that sense, it's been kind of lackluster. Like we waited, held this secret for so long, and then it's finally out, and now we're kind of like, okay, well, now what, right? We can't even hug anyone. I know, we can't even hug. However, the reception from the public has been awesome. So that kind of lessens the blow a little bit because we're like, oh, we can't do anything, but at least people are watching and they're loving it. So
it's honestly one of my favorite shows from this year already. Like I'm not like a massive fan of competition shows, but like this has just blown me away. You've got a massive fan in me now.
Hands down.
That makes it all worth it, Harry. I do it all again for you. These gentlemen's opinion, I feel like we're good. Like this show is gonna be epic. Yeah. And you can tell me anything now, and I'll say it doesn't matter because Harry liked it. So.
So Sarah, you have a company, Intrigue Design, which is all about floral arrangements. Is it just for weddings, or do you do like other big occasions as well?
So we do primarily weddings, but we do other social events. Like we've done quinceañeras and sweet 16s and baby showers, but we do large scale, big, over the top events. So retirement parties usually don't call us. Not always, but usually don't call us. But something that's a little bit different with our business. And for the last 3 years, we've actually been touring the United States, teaching workshops and classes to up-and-coming designers.
Oh, wow.
And we have connected with the most amazing community of florists and flower enthusiasts and wedding planners, designers. It's been an incredible run for the last 3 years. And to top it all off with the Netflix show.
So I was looking at your website, and I was having a look because obviously I saw that some of your touring has been cancelled obviously due to COVID, and I saw, are you doing some like online seminars? Because I saw this like the chandelier that you'd done, and it was just amazing. Like it was massive as well, and I was just like, wow. And then you were just giving away like your expertise on it, and I just think that was really, really nice to see, like giving back to the community around you. So if
I like
we go,
well,
I mean, from the show we can tell you like big stuff. Before we get to the show, how did you guys get into floristry? How did that happen?
Oh, it's a very different story for both of us. Let me lead this. Yeah, you start.
Okay.
So I actually started my career in the wedding industry as a wedding planner. And I'm going to give you the very Cliff Notes version of this because it's a lot. But I got pushed into having to do the flowers for one of these weddings. Like, not my plan. I had no experience. And I loved every minute of having my hands on flowers. And that was when I knew, okay, this is the direction I need to. So that this is the direction I need to go. So then I folded flowers into my wedding business, and that very quickly took off as a part of my business because, quite frankly, that was always the only thing I cared about when it came to weddings. Like, I didn't care what anyone was eating. I didn't care what the dress looked like. I only wanted to talk about the flowers and the decor. So once I realized that not only could I do it, but then I could control the aesthetic of these celebrations that are monumental. Like, nobody forgets their wedding day. You always know what it smelled like, what it looked like, the experience. Being part of that is huge. So that's how flowers came into my business. I'm gonna lead up to Jordan, and I'll let her take off. So I want to fast forward you to the fall of 2017. I was preparing to go out on tour for the Intrigue Across America tour, this first floral tour that we did. And actually, it wasn't my first tour, but the big tour we did. And I was trying to hire a personal assistant. So I would have someone here in Maryland that could do things like make sure that all the doctor's appointments for my family members got kept and my laundry got taken care of, and made sure like just the grounds. I just wanted someone who would just take care of all the things and help a little bit in business. So I had tried to hire, and previously I'd always had great long-term employees and had no problem keeping staff. Not for this role. People quitting. I think in a matter of 1 month, 4 people quit on me. One quit.
Oh, wow.
My dog smelled bad. One quit because it was way too much work. I don't remember why the other 2 quit because I just kind of had it at that point.
They're irrelevant now.
I created this like health wanted ad, but it was a joke. It was kind of a meme style ad, and I posted on my personal Facebook page. And Jordan, you want to take it from there?
Yeah, so I was living in New Zealand at the time. I had been an international backpacker for about 2.5 years, and my visas were expiring. I had not touched foot on American soil in over 2 years. I didn't know anybody. I was running out of money because I was, surviving on my own. And I just,
what? You changed me for money?
I just needed a job, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to be back in 3 weeks. I have no place to live. I have no income to get a house. I don't know what I'm doing. So my mom actually had forwarded me Sarah's literal meme style job listing. And she was like, haha, this is funny. And I read it and I was like, hold on a second.
I could do that job.
This energy is something that I am familiar with. Like fun, playful energy. I just resonated with. And then to read it and see like this job ad literally said things like, I need somebody who's okay with working with a smelly dog because of the person who put over dog. Like things like that. And so even though it was clearly a joke.
I need someone who can pick up and travel at a moment's notice.
Yeah, pick up, travel. And even though I knew this was kind of a joke, I wrote like a 1-page letter.
So good.
Picking out every single thing that was a joke, treating it as if it was a real request, and just answering, saying things like, oh, you need somebody who is okay with working in an environment with a smelly dog. Well, let me tell you about the smelliest dog I ever owned. I owned her for like things like that. And so I sent that off to Sarah, and she emailed me back the same day and was like, I think this is great. When do you come back to the States, and when do you want to start working? So once again, fast forward, I show up on my first day of work, and she's like, well, hold up, this dog really is smelly. The dog was no joke. He smelled so bad.
Oh,
he was old. Yeah. Like imagine your old smelly grandpa in dog form. That's what he was. But I think I was in the house for probably like 2 hours before Sarah and I decided that personal assistant was not the role for me. Sarah didn't like people doing her laundry, and I just had more ideas on the business side that I felt like
let me clarify, because she just totally washed over that. It took me 2 hours to realize how brilliant she was and how I could hire anyone to do my laundry. I couldn't train again. So it was very, I knew she is more than a personal assistant. Mm-hmm. Never did hire one.
Well, that's
she
really
never
nice.
hired a personal assistant. No, never happened. But also, secretly, Sarah likes to do things like do the dishes, and she finds it relaxing. So I think if you hired someone, you'd be sad that you didn't get to do your own dishes.
Well, you know what? Jordan took off a lot of the work that I was doing. So maybe I'm the personal assistant. How did that work?
So
originally she wanted
That's
to
an
hire.
incredible story. That's incredible.
Sorry, I cut you off.
That's right. So that's how you two met, and then a few years later, did Netflix get on the phone? Do you get a?
That's pretty much how that happened. Yeah.
Let me backtrack for a second, because I need you to understand how she actually got to go on tour with us. Remember, I hired her not to come on tour with us, but to handle things here in Maryland. Mm-hmm. And even when she started taking on the business, like, there's still some business needs to get done in Maryland. Mm-hmm. But Jordan has a way of seeing an opportunity. Yeah. So she saw an opportunity and she's like, Sarah, I think I'm indispensable. And she made herself indispensable. So I knew.
Yeah. I saw somebody who, like, one of my passions is traveling, right? I had just moved back to the States when I took this job. And suddenly I hear Sarah talking about this international or national tour. And I was like, hold on a second. If somebody's doing that, I want to be involved. So I just, weaseled my way in.
I'm just going to make some notes about this job now.
That's incredible.
That's really interesting to find out how it's funny how those sort of relationships end up, isn't it? And now we'll look at you two, and you're on this big old platform, and here you are. So now moving on to the show, I guess, and what we were talking about this, so we did a segment before. It's called Nothing to Watch, where each week we pick something to watch and then we discuss it. And we were saying, because it's the first season or something, was it something that you applied for, or does someone contact you to get on the show?
It depends, I think.
Yeah, for us it worked a little bit differently. I think we were in the end of their casting, which is also probably helpful because I think they were sick of looking for people. I think they had stumbled upon me on Instagram, and then they reached out to me in the morning. The casting director had reached out to me in the morning. By the time I called him back that afternoon, the conversation started with, well, Sarah, everybody's talking about you. And it turns out, like, the previous calls he'd had, almost everyone had said, you need to call Sarah Campbell. She's perfect for that.
Wow.
Which, that felt really good. So when I started talking to casting, they said, well, this is going to be a team effort, so you're going to need to have a teammate in order to be considered. Was not my first
Did Jordan weasel her way into that one as well? Did she?
So I started looking for a florist. Because this is a flower competition, right? I'm going to need someone who has skills that can support my skills so that we could do this. And it took me a couple days to kind of come up with some options. We started talking through, and the whole time, Jordan's reminding me that it's going to be really difficult to run Intrigue while she's in America and I'm in the UK. So I tried to negotiate them paying Jordan to come with me to the UK. That didn't go over well.
So we kind of realized that they were not going to pay for me to just have a free trip over to the UK. I was thinking, okay, well, look, all of your floral designer friends are busy anyway. They have wedding season, they're doing things. They don't have the time to just walk away from their life for a few months to come travel with you. I have that. I always have that. So I can come with you. You are a teacher and educator anyway. So the things you need me to learn, you can teach me. And then you don't have to worry about who's going to run your business because we'll already be together. So
clever.
There we go. You're onto something there, Jordan, like that.
He pitched it to Netflix and said, hey, I don't know if you're into this idea.
We didn't know it was Netflix.
That's true. We didn't know it was Netflix at the time. So we pitched it to we said, okay, well, what if Sarah, this world-renowned floral designer whose talent knows no bounds, brings her business assistant who's never touched a flower before in her entire life? And they were like, love it. That's hilarious. Let's do it. And we were like,
only then we got to the set.
Yeah.
And I realized just how few design things Jordan knew.
Yeah, I knew nothing. I don't know anything.
So
I knew nothing.
And if you didn't notice, I don't know anything about potted plants. And literally, the first challenge, I picked up the flower and I'm like, why are there roots on this? So I had to learn it really quick, and then with confidence teach Jordan what to do. And there were sometimes I didn't know what to do, and she's like, why are you not leading me, leader?
Yeah. Takes a little bit of background information because when we were called for the show, we didn't really ask questions. We said, we're making a floral tea show. Do you want to come on it? And we said, yeah, great. And then we show up and realize maybe we actually have no idea what we signed on for. We didn't know what we were doing, what we were building. We just showed up and they're like, how do you feel about 12-foot tall animals? And I was like, I don't know.
But I was saying this in this segment that we did beforehand. It was quite nice to watch. So I don't know if you've seen the Great British Bake Off, but the people on it, they really know what they're doing. Like the majority of the time, 99% of them know what they're doing. Whereas it was quite nice to watch the Big Bear fight where people were out of their comfort zones. Like some people were more of landscapers, some people like yourself, Sarah, were, you know, into like your wedding flowers, and then you had some people who were just like an ordinary gardener, and it was nice to see you learn new skills on the show as well.
Yeah.
And I think it made it more competitive in a way because you all didn't really know what you were doing, so it was sort of like a real battle.
It certainly evened the playing field a bit because I think all of us, every individual team thought we knew what we were going into, and then we got there, all of us were like, oh no, that's new.
Yeah, I think every one of us showed up like, oh, we got this. We're totally good.
We're gonna win.
Like,
yeah.
Not
the case.
No,
it wasn't the case.
So what did you think was the most challenging, and then your favorite challenge of the show?
Oh man,
I'll go. Oh, you go.
Okay. Well, if I know anything, I'm pretty sure Sarah's favorite challenge.
You can't tell them my favorite.
No, I'm not going to. I'm pretty sure Sarah's favorite is the one that I disliked the most. My most challenging is her favorite. So, Sarah, would you like to do?
All right. So, my favorite of all, no, not my favorite thing to do, but my challenge I'm most proud of is the lemur. Which, if you had like less than exciting things to say about our lemur, actually designing a cat. Just kidding. It just looks like a cat. But the reason I'm excited about that, and I'm proud of that, is because we went into this, and they don't show you this in the show. We spent the first hour like staring at our sketch pad, staring at this metal frame, and looking at grass.
Yeah,
guys. Grass.
And that's the inspiration from that.
I think it's when they were like, oh yeah, the nursery has over 1,000 different types of grass. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I've only seen one grass ever, and I just call it grass. It's just out there. It's just
so anyways, because it was so challenging, and like I know Ralph and Jam helped us a lot. They were right next to us with their hair during that challenge, and like I just needed some direction to figure out what we were doing. And then we just started doing the thing we thought was going to work. And I love the way it turned out. Like, it was a really good, us coming out of our comfort zone.
I really like the blues on it, I think it was around the head. I really like the blues.
Did you notice I snuck in some flowers? I went out and picked wildflowers.
Yeah, we made it a flower crown. It's kind of hard to see on TV, but we made it a flower crown. It was really cute.
And Jordan was feisty during that
I was having the worst time of my life. And I honestly cannot tell you why. You just know some days are not good days. And I just was tired. I was hungry. I was still jet lagged. We're a few weeks in.
And the problem is that the person who was supposed to be leading her and telling her what to do had no clue.
Yeah, Sarah had no idea what she was doing. So I felt completely useless. And like, I was already in a bad mood. And then I felt completely useless. And then I'm standing in a field of grass that has 17 different names that I don't know.
And then Owen and Declan are stealing all the grass.
Owen and Declan are being Owen and Declan. Jim and Ralph were like, Jordan, cheer up, we're having fun. And I was like, who thought that?
I know, I'm pretty sure Jim told me at the end when I was all happy that I needed to stop being happy.
But yeah, someone did say that, I think. But yeah, for me, it was one of those things that like I turned around and looked at the mirror, and there was a part of me that was proud of what we did because, I mean, that was a big stretch for us. But then the other part of me was like, I just want to go home, I want to eat a burger, and I want to take a nap.
Yeah.
And I would like to stand up for the lemur's tail now that we're on that.
Yeah.
How often it rains in your country. Like, if it had not rained.
It's currently raining right now. Where I'm
It's raining right now. If it had not rained between the start of the design and the end of the challenge, we would have been able to suspend the tail. But by the time we brought those plants in, they were so waterlogged.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was no way.
I mean, it was, honestly, that tail had to weigh, it was probably like 80 pounds, 70 pounds. Like, by the end of it, the two of us could barely lift it off the ground, let alone, like up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my least favorite is Sarah's favorite. My favorite, I think, was the storm, because I had such a time making those birds. That is the only thing I contributed.
The mobile, yeah.
Actually, look, seeing your face when you were like, we do, it flaps just like
it moved. Yeah, you had so much pride with that bird. It was beautiful.
So that wasn't the only thing I did during that challenge, but I did end up. So, and this is some behind the scenes knowledge, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I spent half of that challenge weaving yarn for something that was supposed to be the sun.
And it was bad.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't great, but also it just didn't fit with the design anymore. And so I switched over to doing the birds, and I was like, this I can do. I can make some I don't know how. I don't know why, but I'm going to do it. And then that was the
one you won Best in Bloom for, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember I watched this series a couple of weeks ago, and I went back and rewatched it. And I was rewatching it, and you guys even had like a little bit of a dispute in that one. There was a bit of friction over the links or something.
I did not start that.
But I was just going to say it was really good to see that you had that argument, but then you still came out and triumphed and actually.
I'm not pointing at you because you started. I'm pointing at you because someone else brought it up.
Yeah, but that's how teamwork works, isn't it? You're not. Is the lemur, like I was so sassy in the lemur episode. Your teammate is not always going to be in the best mood, and you're going to have little disputes sometimes, but that's how teamwork works. If you throw your hands up and walk away and say, okay, I'm done with this, well, then you don't have a team anymore. Like, these things happen. They just do. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I
Absolutely.
Like at first when they showed that, I was like, oh my gosh, why are they showing me being stubborn and bitchy?
yeah, you can say that, yeah.
I don't say bad words, but sometimes I'm bitchy.
Sometimes,
I didn't like that they showed that, but then as I step back, I think it's really good to see dimension in people and to see even people that are jolly, happy people. Like sometimes you're just frustrated and
of course, naturally, yeah.
And, the fun part of TV editing is that we are not the team that fought the most or had the biggest fights. We're not, but we are the only ones you'll see on the show. I think they knew we could handle it, but you are kidding yourself if you didn't think every single team had at least one fight along the way.
Of course, yeah, of course.
It's the nature of a competition, right?
It's all in the heart of it. Yeah, I guess like whenever I do anything competitive, I turn so competitive, and I will trash talk my best friends, my family, everything.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so
I was like, yeah.
Absolutely.
So Kristen called you guys the color queens, which I think is particular. Like it was easy to see in every single every single challenge which one was yours, especially in the floral dress, I think, as well, which was like personally my favorite.
I love
which
that.
you were robbed of Best in Bloom.
Yes, louder, absolutely robbed. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. I shed a tear. It wasn't my hay fever. I promise it wasn't my hay fever. I shed a tear. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Sorry, carry Harry.
I love that episode because I was so confident, so confident, and Chanel kept telling me, she's like, "No, baby, I got this." I'm like, Chanel, I think I got it. And so when she won, I am the most competitive with Chanel and Raymond out of any of the other teams.
We love
because they're our team. Chanel doesn't know floristry. Raymond doesn't know design. Well, he doesn't design flowers. So I think it was two unique
compatible. Yeah, we were compatible. Yeah.
So I wanted to beat them after that one.
Yeah. Chanel and Raymond's dress though did have a beautiful story about DNA and
it was really
being proud of where you come from, which was important for people to hear.
And it was beautiful. It actually showed better in person than I think it did on camera.
It was really beautiful.
But my dress still. I'm sorry.
Your dress designed it. The color queens thing always cracks me up because in design we are 100% color queens, but you will not catch me wearing color in my life. You will not catch me ever wearing color.
Unless I dress her, which I do sometimes.
But I'm always all black or all white, all neutral something. So when now people come up to me and they're like, color queen, and I'm like, what
I bought a pink hat the other day. And I think it's the first piece of colourful clothing I've bought in years.
I love that for you. I love this. I love that.
Yeah. You guys are actually quite colorful right now. We got blue.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
Quite. No.
I
was just going to say though.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Running off the colour queens thing, is colour something that you guys like? Was that what you strive for in each piece? Was it something that you really wanted to bring out?
Yes. Sarah's just good at that. Her design eye so naturally just sees color in a way that is unique and so easy for her. And I think that's a real talent because that doesn't come easy for a lot of designers, the use of color and things like that. So yeah, we ran with it.
Yeah.
And
like to me, I think color stands out really well. It does, it catches my eye a lot.
That was part of my, and I know we discussed this, it was part of that strategy so we do a lot of floral design on social media. And on Instagram, I know what gets attention. Which fact that is why I was not thrilled with the win for the storm is because they gave me the win for something I've done a bazillion times. They just designed a lemur that was amazing and so outside my comfort zone. And what we did in my comfort zone, and it wasn't what I wanted the ribbon for.
I don't really notice this, but when we were filming, Sarah got people made fun of her so much because I don't know if you noticed her face when when we announced that we won Best in Bloom. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow! And Sarah just goes. And I feel like literally all of the contestants are like, girl, are you good? Like,
so did you, I presume you get to take the Best in Bloom home. Have you got it back with you?
I've actually never asked for it.
Was it a clip on the your t-shirt on the plane ride home? Was it a proper look at me, I'm
carry on?
It definitely was for me, but it was funny because they handed us the thing and I was like, Sarah, do you want this? And she's like, no. And I was like, she was so bitter about that, and I thought it was so funny. I was like, just be happy for us, Sarah.
You actually, when we did our little interview, I gave a little cheer, but she's like, well. I just thought some of the other things we did were stronger. So, and I also didn't like, so when we were in the dome, it's bright and it's beautiful. I didn't like how the storm, I spent so many hours hand painting my dried flowers so that the color balance, and it was spectacular.
Yeah.
And then it didn't look spectacular.
Yeah, they moved it into dark light.
No, I was a bit surprised because they moved it into that really dark room, didn't they? Like in the bar.
Yeah. They did it for the dress too. I'm not a fan of that because I feel like you don't really get to absorb and see all the beauty.
Yeah.
And I understand it was visually different for the audience, but I feel like the audience missed so much.
Yeah.
Put us in a cave.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to Christian and Ryan. They were on a Instagram live yesterday.
Yeah.
And Christian was saying that if the one thing that he would like to propose to the producers is to have some sort of, to have a website or something, and then to have like a virtual 360 walk around. So you could actually,
everything was 360.
Yeah, and he was saying there were some features at the back and stuff that you might have missed because you don't, because it, obviously we did see them on the show, but they were quite quick, and you just want to maybe have a look and actually explore what you actually.
That would have been great because the beetle was amazing, and it just showcased well on television. Like I felt like it just showcased like a blob of flowers, but it was really cool and had lots of dimension and cool face and cool hands.
That little. Things just appear differently when you see them, and you can see the dimension and stuff in real life.
Great idea. That was smart.
Another thing that I loved about our mobile, which we didn't get. Okay, do you guys say mobile or mobile?
Mobile.
Suspicious. I don't trust any of you. our mobile could actually turned a full 360. It could spin.
I did wonder that if they did all move. Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. I wasn't happy with the win
because the storm cloud itself was a spiral effect. Turned, it was almost kind of like a trick of the eye because it looked really like oh so cool. And then the birds, oh my gosh, they're just flapping away. I loved it.
So I've just got some quick fire questions. So I don't want too much thinking. I just want straight answers, and I'll accept answers from both.
For me, no thinking is ideal. Thank you.
So this is all about the show and your other fellow contestants. So who was the funniest?
Chanel. Ralph.
Yeah.
Oh. Who did you build the best relationship with?
Oh, our relationships are really strong as a core.
Yeah. I don't know if I could choose.
I feel like Henck and Yan, I feel really close to. I feel close to Ralph.
Yeah, Papa Ralph.
Yeah.
They're all different vibes,
Yeah,
though.
I love them all for different things. That's like choosing your favorite child. Like,
because we're the closest, we have seen Nick and Taylor more than anyone else.
oh, actually, I'm a big fan of Nick.
Yeah,
Nick actually works with us now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I'm always talking to Ryan. Ryan and I have started doing like a weekly Instagram live where we just get drunk.
I have enjoyed those. Yeah, the drunk Instagram lives. They are good fun.
I was never part of it, but only part.
So who was the grumpiest?
Besides me.
Because I could tell you from watching this show, I could tell you who So Declan and I can't remember his name. From viewing, they do not view very well. They seem very arrogant.
It's all in the editing.
You know what? They
How
did
is it?
moments. We're not good at like this quick round thing, but they did have moments like we had to get used to them because I don't understand sarcasm very well, and they're very, very sarcastic.
Yeah.
So you're not actually belittling me. You're actually showing me love, but it's coming out as an insult.
In a different way, yeah.
It's just very repressed.
True. I would also say possibly Ryan and Andrew, but whether they were grumpy or hungover as anybody's guess. We were doing some partying in our downtime, so I think sometimes they would take a nap.
Were you guys all staying in like the same place then as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually got to know each other on a really good level.
Yeah. We lived together. Yeah, it was great.
I thoroughly feel like this is my family. Like I can't explain how tight the bond is in that short amount of time, but tight.
It was like being in the most matched college fraternity you could ever. That's what it was like. It literally was like a crazy house full of people just doing their thing.
Those late nights at the Marriott, those were like frat parties, but with 12 people. Yeah, 20 people.
What was your favorite design in the whole show? Not necessarily yours, but just the one that's maybe stands out to you.
Okay, I have some mixed feelings on these.
Okay, I know mine. First. Mine was Andrew and Ryan's warthog thingy.
Oh, with the disco
test. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
The disco test, and they didn't show well on camera, but the hooves were made out of sawed-off soup cans, and it was just the coolest, like most punk rock thing. It had a mohawk back. Oh, it was sick. Yeah. I was so angry when they didn't win that one.
Favorite design of the whole show, I'm a little bitter about.
Oh, I don't know if I know this.
It's the damn T-Rex.
The T-Rex.
The episode was quite funny, I must admit.
I'm only bitter because it was so good and the gnome was so bad.
And that T-Rex went up so fast.
So fast.
Like they had of course the details and stuff took longer, but they had the main structure of that T-Rex done
before
in like
we'd had our wood built together.
Yeah, they had it done in like hours. And Sarah, like, how did you build a dinosaur?
Yeah, that's something that I've like I see on these like shows and stuff all the time. It's like, so you just see this metal pole or this metal frame, you're like, how the hell is that gonna be like, you know, a hare or a fish or whatever? But it's just. And then you just see it like suddenly just click. You're like, "Oh my god, that is the dinosaur."
Well, that's how it worked. That's how it worked in real life too, because we were so busy working on our own things that like all of a sudden you turn around and there's an alien coming out of the ground, and you're like, "When did that even? Where have I been for the last 6 hours? What was I doing?"
So that particular episode, the episode that we were doing, the one with the poles, we did the octopus. I remember they took us out to do these interviews, and they said, looking around the room, like, who do you think is most competition right now? And Jordan and I looked at each other like, we didn't look.
We haven't seen
what
anybody else's. They would ask us that. I feel like every challenge they asked me.
But that challenge we had no answer.
Yeah, they're like, who are you worried about? Do you think we've looked at anybody that isn't us? Yeah. And I think that they thought we were just trying to be nice and like be good people, but we're like, honestly, we have not looked. We do not know.
Are nice.
Yeah, no nice people, obviously. But we honestly can't. We have no fake drama. We have no drama for you. Like, we have not looked at all.
Okay, and this is a big question, this one. Who has better style, Jan or Henck?
Henck.
Oh,
Henck. She said Henck. Okay.
Yeah. I love them both, but Henck has this way of pulling these pieces together that don't make sense, but the way he curates his attire, he's a walking piece of art, where Jan is very well dressed, and he's usually put together in an organized, funky, dapper gentleman kind of way.
Yeah.
Henck, like, it really is art, and I really don't think he thinks about it very much. I think it's just what he does, and it's very natural.
Yeah.
And I would say Jan, but kind of for those same reasons, because Jan is very particular, and he curates everything he wears, and it's very specific. And just kind of like, do I like robots and tigers? Yeah. Should I wear them at the same time? Of course.
I think my favorite.
Is so,
my favorite Henck hairstyle was the watermelon hair.
That was so funny.
He also did when you can't really see well on camera, and they didn't do like any close-ups of it or anything, but he did like a 70s like rug or like carpet pattern in his hair, where he dyed his hair brown, and then he did like different colors of brown squares, and it looked so. Yeah.
Was that episode 6?
Yeah, I could have been.
So did it work like whilst you were all partying and stuff, he was out there dyeing his hair?
Yes. Yeah, that's what happened. Literally, he would walk in one day with a different colored mustache. I'm like, how did you find the time to do that? My favorite fashion icons from the show, though, were Ryan and Andrew. They're like big into like thrifting and streetwear, and they're so effortlessly cool. One day, Andrew was shirtless with a bright lime green neon jumpsuit.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, I just want to be you.
All right, I gotta say it. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Sarah's fashion is very like classic, classy, and I'm on the like modern, trendy side of things.
I like trendy things.
To be fair, I
don't understand that particular trend. Like,
probably my favorite style throughout the entire. I think Ralph didn't change anything the entire time. It was sort of the.
Yeah, and this is what Ralph wears. That's why he's Papa Ralph. He's always just in like a flannel and jean overalls, just being the dad.
Behind the scenes, like, he was the most entertaining human I have ever encountered in my life. Like, he did the best. Like, if we were kind of getting exhausted, like, he brought our spirits back up. He dressed up like, remember the trash bag and a hat where he's being the knight? So
he dressed up as a flower knight one day, like literally. He had finished a little early and they were bored, and he went around and found things on the farm and made like farm tools out of cardboard, and then made a night suit out of trash bags, and we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh.
I can see that. I can imagine that. That's just
amazing. Also, Ralph knows so much stuff about stuff, and a lot about his yeah, like we do driving. So we have like a 30-minute drive to set on some days.
Interview ever.
Yeah, we'd have like a 30-minute drive to set on some days, and we'd like drive by a field, and Ralph would be like, "Oh, did you know in 1870 there was a bridge over there that they used for the delivery of cows?" And I'd be like, "What? And he's like, "Oh no, I just know." I'm like, okay. And he really was so smart. He's an encyclopedia of cool knowledge.
It was a really intelligent, smart group.
Yeah, I don't know how they managed all of us in the same room, but. We knew it from like the first day we met each other. We were like, wow, this is a really unique blend of people. And we just knew we were going to get along so well.
They cast well.
Yeah.
They really did. Yeah.
So the show is done now. It is out there. So what is next for you guys? What is it? Interior design? Do you have plans for the future for that? Or are you happy where it is now?
Well, the plans were, we were going back out on tour. We've been touring for years. So this would be just a great platform to right back out on tour, but COVID, sorry.
Yeah.
We actually, things are starting to open up in the U.S. We have our first tour stop is going to be in Alaska. So,
fun.
Actually, Jordan's not going. Just I'm going because budget cuts because of COVID.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But then we have our tour hopefully in the fall. We teach these large-scale installation workshops, which is crazy because we were teaching these before the show.
Yeah. Good thing because we learned a lot.
We did learn a lot. We've been doing them for years.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in Orlando. We're going to be in New Orleans and Los Angeles. Oh no, Baltimore.
Yeah, hometown.
Baltimore.
We're kind of at a point in our career that we've got to find some new direction. And our plans have really been halted. Like even for weddings and events, almost all of the large weddings and events have been postponed to 2021. So we're kind of like be taking the year off.
Well, I mean, we'll still be working. We just probably won't be traveling as much. But it is kind of
I just went sideways.
you're sideways.
I don't know what happened. I just got kicked out. I have no idea what just happened.
You're okay now. Jocel's in your spot.
Everyone's just moved around one. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So is there do you guys see like going international on these tours ever? Is that something you'd look into?
So we've done a few. I actually want to do, and I've kind of reached out to get permission for this. I want to do an international big flower fight tour because we produce tours. We know how to do the logistics on the back end. We know how to make money doing the tours, and we happen to know all of the big flower fight tasks. Wouldn't that be amazing to do a big flower fight?
That'd be really cool.
I actually would come. I think 100%. I think we'd sign up. I think we'd have to do a little group podcast trip to that. Actually.
That'd be so fun. And then we can do your pub quiz too. I want to do that too.
Yes.
Okay. That's a
big flower pub beer quiz.
I only know flower things. That is the end of my brain. My brain goes flowers and
let me clear this up. I'm not saying I will be good at the pub quiz.
We're not very good at
it. It's just about No. It's just about taking part. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending such some time with us as well.
Honestly,
we appreciate
thank
it so
you so
much.
much.
But before we can let you go,
yeah,
we have to ask you. So, as part of the Rusty Club, which is when we get our interview slot, you have to answer this question before you go, and I'm going to need answers from both of you.
Okay.
What is your favorite Abba song?
Oh my gosh. Anything. So I have a degree in theater, so I'm a big musical theater fan.
Ooh.
Anything from the musical Mamma Mia, and you have me. You got me.
I know what Mamma Mia is.
It's an Abba musical.
I know that. So the funny thing is, I am not a music person. I'm just not. Like, I couldn't even tell you all the Beatles songs or all the Rolling Stones songs. Like, I just don't know music. So I actually don't know the name of a single Mamma Mia song. How about Super Trooper?
Yeah, there we go.
Super Trooper, let's go.
Fantastic song.
As I said, thank you so much for coming on.
Like, if that song comes on and you don't dance, we're not friends. We're not dance.
Jordan, I feel like, Jordan, we're going to actually have to get you for like a proper, like a session, I feel. We're going to have to come to this big flower fight tour. And we're going to have to organise some sort of event for us all.
Absolutely.
A Zoom dance party. Like, let's just put we can do it. I'm going to show you her dance moves now.
They're so great. No one else.
Well, how about we'll put that in the diary for next time, and we'll make it. We'll try and get. I'll contact some more people for the show. Contact some more people for the show and try and get a nice little dance party going.
I love it.
Also, guys, just before you do go, if you want to shout out any Instagram, Twitter, YouTube plugs, anything, just throw it out there now.
Yeah, I have an Instagram. I have it. It's called The Geordie Journey. But also you can find me on Sarah's Instagram because she tags me a lot.
So the Intrigue Instagram is intrigue_designs. And I do tag almost every day at this point. So you can always get to her that way.
Yeah.
I know I have a Twitter. I don't even know what it is. I don't tweet. We have a YouTube. I think it's Intrigue Designs.
Yeah.
And then Jordan, you have your own stuff. You tweet, don't you?
You do. I am on Twitter. It's funny because I really only use Twitter just to spy out. Like, I am that person who types my name into Twitter and sees what people are saying about me.
Oh, I'm not that person.
My favorite tweet I've read so far is OMG, the facial expressions Jordan makes at Sarah. I can't believe she still has a job. And I wrote back and I said, oh.
That has been actually really interesting.
Yeah.
The people that watch the show and they see a little bit of Jordan and I's tension and they think we're mad at each other. Like,
we're not. We just make faces. Also, here's my thing. I've had people send me like actual screenshots of being like, you're so sassy to Sarah. Look at this face you're making. Guys, I have really bad allergies. And if I'm going like this means I'm trying not to sneeze on people. I'm not mad. I'm just trying not to sneeze.
But you know what? This relationship that we have is so unique and so strong. You can make whatever damn face you want to make.
Yeah, say you want. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, that cracks me up when people, you guys are being so mean. I'm like, no, I'm trying not to spread germs. Like,
that's so good. Well, as you said,
brilliant.
thanks so much for coming on, and we really appreciate your time.
yeah, of course.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Another massive thank you to Sarah and Jordan for coming onto the podcast. It's probably one of my favourite interviews we've done in the 11 episodes we've done. Wouldn't you say so, guys?
Absolutely. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. It was so fun. The energy was something else as well. I'm big on energy, as you boys already know, and that energy was up there, dude.
And even after that, we hopped. Oh well, I hopped on their live Instagram, Instagram that evening, and then there was like she gave us a shout out on that, and I, screen recorded it, and it was cool. They're just such nice ladies, and like. They all follow us now, and they've been like sharing. Jordan shared Joscel's Instagram post, and I don't know. It's just they're lovely, and I would absolutely have them on again.
We need to try and find a way.
We have to.
Yeah,
we have to. They asked to come back on.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe we take an international tour.
27 on tour. Love it. So Ben, have we got a guest for next week?
Yeah, next week we've got Flora Davenport coming on, and I'm really excited to have her on, and we're going to talk about all things mental health. It's a subject really close to her heart. She openly had issues with it during university, and we're going to talk to her about how she coped with it, how university responded to it, see if they supported her in any ways, and how she's doing now, and what she did to get herself out of it and into a good position again, because it's quite an important subject, I think, especially nowadays. It's spoken about a lot more, and a lot of people hopefully we can get a really good conversation out of that, and hopefully if anyone who listens to this is struggling with mental health, then we can help them, and Flora can help them in getting out of it.
That should be a really good discussion, actually.
And very interesting,
yeah. Just before we finish today, guys, we have some exciting news. We have entered a competition, the My Roadcast podcast competition. They do it yearly. There'll be a link to where you can vote for us down in the description of the YouTube video and on the description of the of your podcast services as well. If it takes 2 seconds to vote for us, and if you can give it a share as well, we really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's everything from us. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Sticking around. This was a long one, but we hope you enjoyed the interview, because I know we did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Hasta la vista, baby. Ciao.